I just want to say this about mascara. Guys, the girls on TikTok have naturally long eyelashes. It has a little bit to do with mascara, but mostly it's because they're born with long eyelashes. Now there are some serums that can help them grow longer, but their natural eyelashes with no mascara on look nothing like yours, and that's why the mascara works. Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna, and today I'm excited to be sharing with you my drugstore favorites and my drugstore favorites for beginners. I know that if you're wanting to do makeup and you just don't know how to do makeup and it's really hard for you, then it becomes really frustrating. So I'm here to make it easier for you and to show you my tips and techniques that I started using when I first got into makeup. Now, I first got into makeup just applying it, not really knowing what to do in middle school, but I really got deep into it, the art of it and everything, in my freshman year of high school. So I love makeup. If you are new to my channel, I'm a makeup artist. I'm a freelance makeup artist on the side, and I'm 17. I'm very passionate about makeup and the social media aspect of it. So I would call myself kind of a beauty guru without all the followers. But obviously you're here because you love makeup, and I love makeup too, so welcome to the family. So let's just get started going into these products and how I use them. Okay, so starting off with moisturizer, I'm assuming if you're a beginner in makeup, you're also a beginner in skincare. That's typically how it goes. So I would start you off with something really simple, just a moisturizer, and that's pretty much it. I do toner and serums and eye creams and everything. Eye cream is helpful for everybody, but if you're a beginner, this is what I think you should get. So these mini Clinique moisturizers, they're only, don't quote me on this, but I believe they're like $15, $10, something like that. It's not very much at all compared to the full-size one. And this one lasted me forever. It's now empty, but I personally have dry skin, so I go towards the dramatically different hydrating jelly. And this one is also the moisturizing version, but they do make an oil-free version or whatever. So these little buddies I highly recommend. Do not be afraid to get the travel size of stuff because it lasts for a fairly good time, and it's affordable, more affordable than the full size. You're still getting the company money for what they need, so there's nothing wrong in getting samples. Not samples, the travel-friendly versions. So today I'm going to be using my Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturizing Lotion. And I'm just going to be talking about everything, throwing out all my tips. You probably don't want to invest in a palette if you're not too fond in makeup. You just want to get it on your face and make it look good. So I use my hand. This is what I used to use all the time before I invested in some palettes. And the only reason I invested in palettes is because I do makeup all the time. So I just needed something a little bit more sturdy and something more reliable to put my makeup on. But you just simply put it on your hand. And if you don't want to use your hand, if you think it feels gross, then use a paper plate, honestly. I've gotten out of the habit to directly just swiping it off the bottle because I am a makeup artist and I use my squeeze tubes on my clients. But if you want to just dab it off like that, then that's totally fine too. Nobody's shaming you for that. And rub the excess of the moisturizer back into your hands because it'll make them feel moisturized as well. It's not gonna hurt them, so why not do it? Moving into primers, I have a few of my favorite drugstore primers, and then I have a travel-friendly version of a high-end primer that I love. So to start off, I'm going to show you my e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer. It's like maybe $10 and it's amazing. It's literally a dupe for the Milk Grip Primer, which I also have in a travel version, because it's not just if you're a beginner that you get travel size of things. It's when you're balling on a budget and you just don't have the money to spend on the full size right now, and that's totally okay. But this one was a drugstore one, so they don't have, I don't believe that they have travel sizes of this one, but it was only $10. And it is amazing. It makes your makeup stay all day long. And these two I like to use in conjunction with each other. I will put this Hangover Primer on first, which is a high-end brand, but it's only $15 in the travel size, which is this, and this has lasted me forever too. And then I will go in after I put that primer on with my L'Oreal Paris True Match Lumi Glotion. And this is basically a liquid highlighter, but I like to put it underneath my foundation after my primer to make my skin more glowy, and you can literally see it through the foundation. If you're oily, stay away from this. This is not for you. I also want to talk a little bit about knowing if you're oily or knowing if you're dry, or combination. So after you wake up in the morning with no product in your face, I want you to just feel right there. And if it feels like kind of grimy or oily, then you typically have oily skin, especially if you are prone to acne. You probably have oily skin. There's always an exception. I have super dry skin and I have acne. I've been acne prone my entire life. So it's very likely to be dry and have acne too. Your skin can also fluctuate throughout the seasons. Most people towards winter they get drier, and summer they get oily. That's how the typical person goes. But sometimes your skin will stay the same all year long. It just honestly depends on you. But if you have dry skin, you typically have no oils, or little to no oils. And so this one is perfect for dry skin because it's moisturizing. This is perfect for dry skin because it's moisturizing, not for oily skin though. And this one I would say goes for my oily and combination, sometimes dry people. So that's a little recap on those, seeing which one that you want to pick out, which one you think you need for yourself. And there are more videos explaining if you have oily or dry skin or whatever. You can watch YouTube videos on it by licensed people that know more about what they're talking about. I'm on the makeup side, they're on the skin side. Yeah. So I think I'm going to use my Hangover Primer. And I just like to dab it in little spots on my face. I think that gets it evenly distributed everywhere. And then just rub it in lightly. And then I'm going to go in with my Lumi Glotion from L'Oreal. And I like to just put this directly on my hand and dab it in the same spots: forehead, two cheeks, nose, and chin. And then lightly rub it in. If you're literally scrubbing your face like this, like you would if you exfoliated your face, then there's no purpose of even trying to do any skincare, because you're literally hurting your face and making wrinkles for future years. So do it really lightly, just the tips of your fingers. Now that I look very glowy, we're going to move on to foundation. So I actually don't have the favorite drugstore foundation. I cannot help you there. I've tried out a few and I don't think they compare to my high-end foundations at all. They weren't horrible, but I totally prefer my high-end foundation, whereas a bunch of these products, I think they're just as good. So foundation is something that I'm going to recommend just because I haven't found a foundation that works for me. I'm going to recommend that you invest in it if you're going to be wearing makeup every day. For beginners, a really good one that I recommend is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I think it's really natural coverage if you want it to, or you can build it up to medium coverage, but it's not anywhere near full coverage that I usually wear. So I just wanted to let you know that it was probably not going to be as full coverage as the things that you see on my pictures. So that's just my intake on it. So typically to cover a full face, I use 2 pumps of this if I'm going for natural coverage. Let's be honest, most of the time I'm not. But I'm just gonna do like a couple pumps, maybe 3. And as far as brushes go, I highly recommend Real Techniques. They have every brush that you can think of that you need, and they're affordable, so I highly recommend them. So the way that I do my foundation is I like to get a glob on the brush and kind of swipe it on my cheeks to start off with, and then I would just kind of buff it out like so. Just kind of moving it, and sometimes you can do circular motions, but I just typically like to buff it out. Dot it on your nose, dot it on your forehead, and then buff. You do want to bring it down to your neck because not all the time it's going to match your neck, so you kind of want to make it look like it matches your neck. If there's a place where you feel like you need extra coverage, you can always apply more and build it up. I'm going to do that right here because you can see that it has a very natural coverage, and I like to cover up my acne scars pretty well. So I'm just gonna go over that and just buff it in and blend it. Make sure it's blended because that is what is going to make your makeup be good or not good. So my foundation is where I like it for a natural coverage. Moving on to concealer. This Morphe concealer is literally the bomb, and it's $9. It's better than Tape Shape. It's the same as Tape Shape, if not better. So how you want to do your concealer is 3 little dots. 1, 2, 3, all surrounding the bottom of your eye. Just 3 little dots. And so many people get caught up in wanting to look like these Instagram models with this contour all over their face. And I mean, yes, contour can help you, but it's not going to be a life changer. For a beginner, I recommend just doing this because this is what I do most days, and it looks like good. And the way that you want to do that is, I prefer sponge. You dab it and kind of pull, and dab it, kind of pull. You never just want to drag. Dragging is bad. Just dab. Moving on to under eye powder. I highly recommend the Airspun one. You can get it from Walmart. That is my client version, so I'm gonna be using my Laura Mercier, but the Airspun one is also great, and it's affordable. So the way that you want to put on powder is just dab it on there. Now this is not baking, this is just applying the powder. You're just bouncing it around where you applied that concealer. A powder that I recommend for the face if you're oily is L'Oreal True Match. It is the bomb, and it's a drugstore primer, so, or not primer, powder. So moving on to eyes, I recommend the Morphe Eyelid Primer. It is really good. Makes your eyeshadow stay on all night. Mine is in my client bag, but I'm just going to be using a Too Faced Shadow Insurance. It's literally, they work the same. The way that you do eye primer is just squirt that sucker out and dab it on your eyelids. You can use your finger, but I'm going to use a brush just because I've invested in a brush. One like this would be perfect. This one is from Real Techniques. And you just kind of blend it in there. Okay, so your eyes are primed. Moving on to eyebrows. So I have been switching back and forth between the Catrice Cosmetics pencil and the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, which is what I'm going to be using today. My local Ulta doesn't carry the Catrice one right now, so I just kind of bought this one. They both work fine. The Catrice one's a little bit more cheaper, but another recommendation that I have for your eyebrows is the Ulta Beauty Brow Tint, and I think it's amazing. It was like $10. It works great if you're on the go and you just want to throw something in your eyebrows. Today I'm going to be using the NYX pencil, and if you want a video on how I do my eyebrows, I will be happy to do that. I am just going to skip it for this video though. So I'm a fan of concealing my eyebrows, so I'm just going to go in with my Morphe concealer, and you want a flat brush for this. So what I do is I just get it on my brush like this, and then I go around my eyebrow where I filled it in, but not on top of where I filled it in. To blend that out, I go in with a little bit of a fluffier brush, but it's also flat. And just I kind of roughly do this, so I mean, I don't have to be super precise with it, it's okay. So to set my eyebrows, I had the Essence Lash and Brow Gel Mascara. It's super cheap and works so good. Keeps my brows on all day. And I just zoom it through like that. Simple as that. If you get it outside of the lines, it's okay, because it's clear. It's amazing. So now onto eyeshadow. Juvia's Place has some really, really good, affordable palettes. ColourPop also has some really good affordable palettes. I only have one of their palettes, and it's like a yellow thing, so that wouldn't be great for beginners. But I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place Nubian 3 Coral palette, and these are the colors in it. I start off with a fluffy brush, and I'm going to be dipping into this lighter color right here. This is what's going to be called a transition shade all over your eye. And you just want to start in small circular motions, building up. Do the same thing to the other side. Okay, so this is good for a beginner. What I'm going to do though is intensify it a little bit if you like. You can go in small fluffy brush and go into this darker brown shade right here. Tap it in, bring it just slightly on your outer corner like that. Do the same thing to the other side. Do not blend with the same brush that you applied the dark brown with, because it will become a hot mess. Trust me, been there, done that. Now you switch back over to your fluffy brush and slightly go back and forth and in small circular motions. Blending is honestly key when it comes to eyeshadow. It takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. Like I said, I've been doing this since freshman year. Well, I've been doing eyeshadow since like 7th grade, and I'm 17 right now, so it takes a lot of time. And I still haven't mastered it. You're never gonna master it. There's always something to learn about makeup. There's always new trends, stuff like that. So don't be too hard on yourself if you can't get eyeliner, if you can't get eyeshadow. It's not the end of the world. You'll get it eventually if you just keep pursuing and keep trying it. So I'm going to go in one of the shimmers in this palette. I think I'm just gonna use this peachy one right here. For shimmers, easily apply them with your fingers. Just dip it in the pan, swirl it around, and tap it on your inner part of your eye. And that's how you do shimmers, because you don't even have to have a brush for it. Your finger honestly intensifies the shimmer compared to a brush, so I like to use my finger still. So, drugstore mascara. They have so many good ones. This is one of the good ones. The telescopic series. This is the black one, and then there's a gold one where it's just as good. They're amazing. My personal favorite is the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Mascara, False Lash Effect Mascara. It's literally $5 at Ulta, and I've never tried anything better for that price. I've gotten so many friends and family members hooked on it. Like my mom uses it, like my boyfriend's mom uses it, like everybody that I can get to try it uses it. So if you wanted to intensify your lash, you can go in with L'Oreal Lash Paradise, which is a primer before your eyes, and it's white. It makes your eyes look funny, but then you put the black on top of it and it makes it look, it just does wonders, trust me. Today I'm just gonna be putting on the Essence by itself because I just feel like it. So the way that I do mascara is I wiggle it back and forth and go up. Wiggle it back and forth and go up. Back and forth and up. And for my inner corner, it's really hard to get in there. You just have to be careful not to get it on your lid, or not to get it right here. That's so hard. But I'm not an expert at mascara. I don't have super long lashes, but this is just how I do my mascara. And I just want to say this about mascara. Guys, the girls on TikTok have naturally long eyelashes. It has a little bit to do with mascara, but mostly it's because they're born with long eyelashes. Now there are some serums that can help them grow longer, but their natural eyelashes with no mascara on look nothing like yours, and that's why the mascara works. Okay, so moving on to Hoola bronzer. You can get one of these mini ones for like $15. I think it's worth it because I haven't found another bronzer from the drugstore that I like that. So I like to go in with my bronzer, going in with circular motions along my cheekbones and blending, 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 blending. I also like to go along my forehead in circular motions. So moving on to blush, I love this Milani blush. It's in Tea Rose. It's gorgeous, like one of my favorite blushes that I use all the time. So I like to use this blush brush personally, and I like to tap it in there and then tap it on my cheeks like that. Now it looks a little bit like unblended, so I take a big fluffy brush and kind of bounce that out and blend it so it'll look well blended. So now it looks natural and pretty, like you have rosy cheeks. A trick that I have been using is to go in with a baked bronzer. This one is from Milani, which is a drugstore brand, and it's in the shade Dulce. And I will take a big fluffy brush and just go along areas of my face that I've bronzed. I think this gives your face a natural glow and it makes it more bronzed. So for highlighter, I love this Morphe one. It's in the shade Spark, and Morphe is pretty affordable. I couldn't think of the word. And I like to go in with a little fluffy brush like this. You can even use a large fluffy eyeshadow brush and tap it in, and then go along right above where you put your blush. And there's the highlight. And then down your nose, above your lip, on your chin, and up here. I just put it everywhere, but you don't have to. Those are just some places that you can choose to put it at. Along your cheekbones, your nose, the top of your lip, the bottom of or the middle of your chin, and then right here. That's where I put mine, but I just love highlight, so. Okay, moving on to some lip options. NYX Cosmetics has a really good lip liner. They also have a good lip product, which is the Powder Puff Lippy. Today I'm going to be using the NYX. So the lippy is on, and this is your drugstore makeup. I know this video was crazy long. Thank you if you've stayed to the end. All the products will be linked in the description box. Be sure to subscribe, like, leave a comment, share this video to your friend, all that fun stuff. So thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Bye.